And today we are going to be talking about the Launchpad, what's new and what's next too. So get a little sneak preview of the things that we're working on as we continue to evolve this. We're going to jump in. And again, feel free to drop in any questions in the Q&A along the way as we go through this. But we'll do a little education about what we're trying to accomplish with the Agent Launchpad, what our long-term goal is, and why this is an area of the product that we're focused on right now. Take a look at some of our lead performance metrics really quickly, and really dive deeper into the different types of leads which can be showing up in the Launchpad now that we've built out some new features there. And then we'll take a look at some of the new features that have already launched and what's coming up in the near future on it as well. All right, so starting off with our goal. So the Agent Launchpad. So this is it's the area in the application that's both on the mobile app and it's in the CRM where you can see what your daily activities are. And so our goal is to make it so that you can increase your contact rate and your appointment rate by focusing your efforts on the leads that have the highest potential, knowing there's only so many hours in the day and there's always more to do than we can do. We want to make sure that the time you're putting in is spent on the activities that are going to deliver the best result and give you the best chance for success. So our ultimate vision for the Launchpad as we continue to evolve it is that we have this tool which will guide you through completing your daily activities. That this is kind of your launching off place, that you can go to this page and see, hey, if I do the things on this page that it's suggesting to do, then I'll be successful, because it's focusing on and prioritizing those high ROI activities. And so for now, it's going to be the single place where you can see and filter and take action on the leads that are demonstrating the most engaged behaviors. And we'll take a look at what those are in just a minute. So first of all, just setting the stage with what do we mean by these engaged leads and what kinds of leads are we talking about? And we'll take a quick look at the performance metrics. I always like to just kick it off by taking a look at the state of the market. And since the last webinar I did where I reviewed this, the good news is we are seeing an uptick. So this is just showing the NAR data on total existing home sales. This is the seasonally adjusted home sales chart. And so we can see this goes up to March of 2024. And the good news in this, for the first time in a while, we have been seeing an incline. So we had declines for the most part going back to March of 2022. But we had some movement this spring, which is a good sign. And of course, as we all wait for the interest rates to get a little bit lower, there's still just the pressure on the market of folks who can't wait any longer. This pent-up demand of all of those folks that want to transact but have been holding on, and we're hoping to see that continue to unlock this summer. In the meantime, we really see it as our job to help you identify where are the opportunities. This is still, 4.2 million transactions that are happening. And so therefore, we want to give you guys the best opportunity to get your share of that and be successful with the transactions that are happening out there. And so we've been putting an effort into the product to help engage more leads with the website and provide more opportunities for those leads to raise their hands and to express interest in a property. And so that's what this chart is showing, that over time, we've had a higher and higher percentage of leads that have taken some type of action to indicate that they are interested in a specific listing or property. So beyond registration, which is when you generate the lead, we're looking to generate these downstream actions of somebody who are making an inquiry on a property, they're asking to schedule a tour, they're engaging with the AI, they're registering on Home Pulse and then asking a question on Home Pulse, or they might be downloading Edda and trying to ask you questions via the Edda app. And these are all areas where we've seen growth, both from product improvements, but also just from improvements in the market as well. So we can see that just in March of this year, we've had about over 14%, almost 15% of leads, of monthly leads, are now taking some type of action to express their interest beyond registration as well. And that's a number that we're looking to always grow because it's an indicator that we've got leads that are highly engaged with the platform and that are looking to reach out. And we're able to look at those and see, are they actually better than a lead that is not showing those engagement metrics, because we want to help prioritize the leads that are going to be most likely to close for you. And so that's what we've also found, that these leads that are making inquiries convert to appointments at 8 times the rate of regular leads, or of leads that just register. And so that's why these are important, because by knowing that these convert higher, we can focus your activities and your limited time on the leads, which are going to be more likely to convert to an appointment and a transaction. All right, so now what's new on the Agent Launchpad? So we'll take a look at some of the new design changes and the new features that have been added. So again, the Agent Launchpad is a place where you can go to see what your daily reminders are. And now the new contact requested, where we're surfacing all of these leads that are making some type of inquiry. So we have this new view that has been released, so that it's no longer content that's stacked and you have to do a whole bunch of scrolling. But there's this, what we call a tab view, that when you look across the top, you can see, you can access your lead reminders, your deal reminders, and your contact requested leads all through that navigation menu. And it makes it really easy to see if you have actions that you need to take, because that little red number there, that little alert, shows you if you have leads that are in the awaiting response status, meaning that there's a new inquiry that's come in that you have not addressed yet. And one other change that's happened on the lead reminders piece is, before you could only see the reminders that were due today. You had to change your view to see overdue reminders. And this has, and so they could sometimes get lost, and then you forget about the ones that you didn't get to yesterday or the day before, or maybe the day before that. And so now it's defaults to show those that are due today and which ones are overdue. So you get this list of all of the other reminders that you should be taking action on today, and either doing the follow-up or dismissing it if it's no longer relevant. So you can keep that list clean and focused on the things that are most important for you to do. Next up, we have this contact requested section. So this is the feature that we added to the Launchpad last December. So we started introducing these contact requested leads. But there's been a couple of features that have been added, and again, the design change. But just as a refresher, in case you've never been there before or never looked at it, this is a place where you will see a record as they come in of any property inquiry or showing request or AI agent ready lead or home pulse inquiry. And if you're on the app, any edit message that has come in. So these are all people that are making some type of hand raising event where they're asking for something back from you. And that's why we're elevating these, because they need a response. And so what has changed recently, in addition to the design, we have now added the Real Verified Leads badge. So you've probably seen us in our various webinars over the past few months talking about the new Real Verified Leads feature, which provides two-factor authentication on leads so that they are motivated to verify their phone number. So you get more accurate phone numbers, number one, and number two, you can see which leads have gone through that verification process. And that's the blue check mark. So when you see that blue check mark, you know that that lead has verified their own phone number through two-factor authentication, and it's 100% likely that that phone belongs to them. It's guaranteed. And so this helps you identify, as you're going through the leads that are in your contact requested section, which ones have also been verified, so that you know not only are they making an inquiry, but you've got the exact right phone number to reach them. And if this is news to you, if you haven't heard us talk about the Real Verified Leads feature or been on one of those webinars, we do encourage you to activate the feature. It is an opt-in feature, so we're not turning it on by default for everybody, but it is available to anybody. So any site owner can activate the Real Verified Leads feature. And I've got a little QR code here for you in case you still need it. You can scan this QR code or take a picture if you want to preserve it for now, and sign up, and we will get that feature activated for you. There is no charge for this feature. And so we strongly encourage it because it doesn't hurt anything. It happens after registration, so it's not impacting the number of leads. And we are increasing the quality of the phone numbers, not just telling you which ones are 100% guaranteed to be good, but it also is motivating leads to correct their phone numbers because some of the content on the listing details page gets held back until they verify. And so it motivates them to correct a bad phone number if they've started out with a bad phone number because they wanted to explore a little bit first. So that's not what this webinar is about. Yes, Angela asked if we can send a recording. We are recording this. That's not what this webinar is about, but again, the new feature of the Real Verified badge is now showing up in Contact Requested. Go. Back up as that blue check mark. And so if you are using Real Verified today, it'll be there. If you're not using Real Verified today, we strongly encourage you to activate that feature so you can start taking advantage of it. All right, and last up, in terms of improvements, just check, okay. In terms of improvements is the Pond Lead badge. So the way that the Launchpad works with contact requested leads is it's going to show you any inquiries that came in from leads that are assigned to you or any leads that are assigned to a pond that you are part of. And so that's ensuring that pond leads that are raising their hand and asking a question are going to get a quick response because it's going to go out to everybody who has access to the pond as well. But it is useful to know as you're looking through your list, which are the leads that are assigned to you and which are the leads that came from the pond, so that you're aware of that when determining which ones you want to take action on. So the pond leads now have a little badge, and you can see it just says pond lead right next to the name of the lead, so you can easily see them as you're looking through that list. All right. And now what we're going to do is Sarah is going to quickly just walk us through on a live site to make sure that everybody on the call knows where to find the Agent Launchpad. And importantly, too, there is a way you can make this your homepage so that when you log into the CRM, it's the first thing you see instead of the leads dashboard. And this ultimately, our goal is for this to be like your workspace that you want to go to, and you can, access all the leads and the activities from this page as well. So Sarah, I'm going to stop sharing so you can jump in and show it to us live.
Yeah. All right, so this is one of our test sites that we're going to be showing you guys today. Is everybody able to see the leads dashboard? Okay, so this is probably what you're familiar with, where you're used to starting when you log in. So if this is where you are to get to the Launchpad, it's the upper left-hand corner. We're just going to go to Launchpad. If you are just an agent level user, which is what I'm logged in as, it's going to take you to the Agent Launchpad by default. If you are a broker level user, it's going to look a little different. So we'll look at that real quick here. Okay, so we'll log in as a broker. And what it's going to look like is it's going to take you to the broker Launchpad by default if you're a broker. So from there, you'll want to go to the Agent Launchpad, which is the first option. So that is the navigation to get you to that Agent Launchpad. Um, but I'm also going to show you how to set that as your default. So we'll go back to our Alex agent. Uh, so if you currently have your Launchpad not set as your default login, when you log in on the site, you are taken to your leads dashboard just like this. Um, but if you want it to be your Agent Launchpad, you're going to click your name, upper right-hand corner. We're going to go to Profile and Settings. And then under the Settings tab, the Login Landing page, we're going to swap from Leads Dashboard to Launchpad and update. And what that's going to do is make sure that when you come into the site, so we'll go to our public-facing website where we would log in. And once you're logged in and you go to your dashboard, it takes you right to the Agent Launchpad. From here, you would begin your day. You would look at your Launchpad and say, I've got some reminders due. I've got some contact requested cards to get started on. And you can just go right into starting your day off, just as we outline in the CINC Success Playbook.
Awesome. And Sarah, can you show us like how you typically manage a card on the contact requested section?
Yes, definitely. So if we go to our contact requested, now you would go through all of your reminders and call filters first, of course. When you're done with that, you would move to your contact requested tab. You can see that I have 10 awaiting response. But you can also filter to your acted ons and dismissed if you need to check on anything that you'd already completed. These are going to be showing you most recent first, so you can scroll down if you want to start with the older ones, or you can just start at the top with whoever the most recent person is to raise their hand and say, I'm interested. We have a showing request for this property, so what I would do is I would interact with that lead. It's going to pull that lead up right here on your Launchpad. It is not going to take you to the leads dashboard, so it won't take you away from the Agent Launchpad while you're working. It won't interrupt your flow. It's just going to open the lead dashboard right here for you. You'll have the all of the standard information, the activity feed, the info tab, everything is right here for you. I might call the lead or text the lead or email the lead. Ideally, I'm going to call them. I'm going to see if I can get a hold of them about this showing request. But if I can't, then I'll follow up with like a text or an email. I'm going to set a reminder for myself. And here's where you can kind of decide for yourself how you want to handle these. Personally, I would leave a card in here until I had made contact with the lead. But you could also, you know, you can mark it as acted on if you've made that call, set yourself a reminder, and you know you're going to follow up again later. You can say, okay, I've acted on this card. I made the call. I'm going to mark it as acted on. That's going to take it out of your awaiting response. You can see that number ticks down up at the top as well. So we go from 10 cards to 9 cards. But then if I wanted to go double check on that or follow back up, I can go to my acted ons and there it is. There's also the ability to dismiss a card. Let's say I've already talked to David and he's decided to not go with the cash offer. So I'm going to go ahead and just dismiss that card and that gets it out of my feed. I don't need to do anything else with that. I've already talked to him and I know that's not happening. So I can just get that card out of my feed. And again, it goes down to 8. But if that was a mistake, we can come to dismissed and it's still there, all of the info. Coming soon, we are going to have a way to undismiss the cards. We don't have that yet, but all of the information is still there. So just in case, if you did it by accident, it's still here. You can still find it. You can still access that information. We're not like completely removing it from your site.
All right, perfect. If you guys have any questions, again, drop them into Q&A. And we will continue taking a look at what is next. Okay. Oh, yeah. So as a reminder, this Launchpad redesign is available both on the web, desktop, and in the app as well on both iOS and Android. It is already the default view on the Agent app, and it's got a really cool design. I love the new design for this. And at the very top, you can slide through any contact requests and a little carousel. The couple things that we looked at here, the Real Verified Leads badge and the Palm Leads badge that are available on the web will soon be available on the app too. So the app is usually a release or two behind the web as we build the features out there, and then they get adapted for the app. So those are coming soon on the app as well. And then what's next, what we're working on right now that will be available both in the web and the app is extending this even further. When we released this, we got a lot of feedback about, hey, these are great. We'd love to see more types of leads that are to be represented on the Launchpad as well, leads that are showing highly engaged behaviors. And so we're opening up a new section that we're going to call trending leads. And trending leads is really for leads that are showing more passive buying signals. So they're not clicking a button where they're saying, hey, I want information or I want to schedule a tour, but they are doing the types of things which indicate they're getting serious about buying. Or they're doing some type of update that you want to know about because it's a signal that you should reach out to them. And so the types of things that will be represented on here are listed here. So for instance, if a lead updates their contact info, you get someone who corrects their phone number. That's something that you want to know about and want to make sure we've got a highly visible record of. If they've saved a custom search, because a lot of leads will be working off a default search, but if they save their own search, it's indicating more specific interest. If they've claimed their property on Home Pulse, that's another big opportunity to have a conversation. If they're having an active AI conversation. So in contact requested, we put leads that get to agent ready on AI. But here we'll let you know as well if somebody is chatting with the AI. So you might want to peek in on that and jump in if necessary. Leads that are back on the site after a longer period of time. Frequent visitors, so folks that are visiting the site often. If someone keeps coming back to the same property and looking at it over and over again, that's another indication of strong interest. Somebody who's favoriting a lot of properties, somebody who's shared a listing with another person, or someone who's used the mortgage calculator. And so these are the types of events that we'll be including here. And it works a little bit different than contact requested. We're not putting like in this whole workflow for you to act on and dismiss and all that. It's more like going to be like a running list showing you which leads are most engaged. And the more engaged a lead is, the higher it's going to be on this list. So in terms of when you're like, okay, I've gone through my daily activities, now I want to start looking at the leads that are highly engaged and making sure I'm giving an opportunity to reach out to them and have conversations with them. This is where you're going to be able to find them in the dashboard. So trending leads are coming up next. And we do invite you, if there's something that you think is important as a trigger for a trending lead, like some action that you want to know about because that's an indication for you that you've got a very interested lead, we'd like to know about that because we can consider it for adding into this list as well. So feel free to drop that into the chat and let us know if there's something else that's on this list or that's not on this list that you would consider a highly engaged lead. I'm just looking to see if anybody's going to drop in something that we haven't listed on here. If you've corrected a question, there's a question that just came in. If you've corrected the lead's email, how does it get changed? I think you have to manually click on the little warning symbol it gives you. Is that right, Sarah? That if you have if you manually correct an email to good, you need to change it to good in the lead details?
Yes, but I'm trying to double check and see if that actually impacts the score.
All right, so we have a couple other ideas. Responding to other automations. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Like, so if they're responding to text, like behavioral message, if they are responding to auto tracks, that would be a good signal as well. How about when they open a market report? I like that. Or click on open or clicking on emails that are being sent out. I'll click on it once more. If you clicked on it and changed it to a question mark, if you click on it once more, it should change it to good. There you go.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it actually changes or updates that score. I'll want to check with our tech team and see if that's something. I'm guessing that's something that we don't like check regularly, so it might be like daily that it updates that. So I'll check with our tech team and see.
Requesting a home value, that's one that is actually in contact requested today. And re-engagement after a year, that would be that's one of the ideas that we have on here, which would be back on site. Yeah, so as I go through, if you think of any others, drop it in here because we want to make this list as useful as possible to help you really. And as you get larger and larger databases, you end up with lots of leads that are doing lots of things on the site, and it can be difficult to prioritize and know which ones to call first. And so that kind of leads me to the next question of why is this focus on contact requested? Um, this was a little interesting analysis I did on a client's inquiries. I did this last fall. And the longer you've been on CINC, the more you find that there's inquiries because the leads have a longer time to mature. And so what's kind of cool about this is this shows, and this was done in October. So I was looking at this client's leads in October and looking for the comparison of when the inquiry came in. So this is like a property inquiry or a showing request compared to when the registration of that lead happened. And so when we look at like this first one, that inquiry came in on October 21st, but that lead registered in September 20th of 2021. And so it was almost 2 years and a month from when they registered to when that inquiry came in. And that's really what we see a lot is um, people, if they're not ready on day one, they stay engaged. They start getting listing alerts. They kind of silently lurk in the background, and then all of a sudden one day they pop up and they're ready to go. And the longer you're on the platform, the more that past database matures. And so some of these, they submitted the inquiry on day zero, meaning they submitted the property inquiry the day they registered, like Pat J here registered on 10/19, and the inquiry came in on 10/19. And some, it only takes a few days, like a month here with Shal S, only took a month. But here, Gert F took over 4 years to submit their first inquiry on a property. And those are pretty easy to get lost because if you miss the alert on that, that lead is way down on your leads dashboard list. It's lead number 10,000 on your list. And so by surfacing these in the contacted requested section and make sure that you don't lose visibility, because those are obviously super fantastic leads because that person is stuck around for a long time. And when they raise their hand, you don't want to miss it. And then when we look at where these leads or where these inquiries come from, we've analyzed the impact of the leads that have submitted the various inquiries. And a lead that submits an inquiry is 2 times more likely to be contacted. So that means you're twice as likely to reach them. But more importantly, they're 8 times more likely to convert to an appointment. So we know that if you spend and prioritize time on those leads first, you're going to have more success because you're putting your effort into the area where you're going to get the most likely appointments. And so any lead that completes either this request information section, which has the form, or the tour home section, which has the calendar where they can pick the date that they want to tour, are 8 times more likely to convert to appointments. Then the next one, and I know this is a little bit controversial, we added these one-click calls to action where a lead only needs to click that button. If they just click this button, I want more info about this home, it creates that inquiry, which is going to show up in your contacted requested section. And what we found by looking at the data is that they are, even though the intent is a little bit less, and we understand why, they are still 7.7 times more likely to convert to an appointment than a lead that just does a registration and doesn't have this action. So even though, of course, not 100% of them are going to be like ready to go right now, overall, they convert at a much higher rate. And therefore, that's time that's well spent working on those leads. And then even down here, and this will come into play when we get to trending leads, we're looking at all the things that a buyer might do and how that impacts the likelihood that they'll convert to an appointment. So even though this is a passive thing, meaning it's not somebody that's reaching out to you, we create a note today when somebody uses this mortgage calculator, and it's a note that shows up on your lead details. And those leads are 4 times more likely to convert to an appointment. And so therefore, it's a nice signal, and it's a good indicator that you've got somebody that's quite a bit more engaged and quite a bit more likely to buy than an average lead. And so on that note, I think it is important to kind of know your contact requests, meaning there's different kinds of requests that have different levels of intent, and that might affect how you approach them. And so, as I mentioned, when you see that one that says showing requested, that means that they have reacted to this form. They've selected a date or they've selected ASAP and clicked the request tour button on the listing details page. There is one exception to that that's important to be aware of, and that is that Facebook leads, the team listing ads leads, when somebody is on Facebook and they're registering on Facebook and submitting a lead on a specific property on Facebook, they are asked during registration if they'd like to tour that home. And so some of those tour requests might come from Facebook leads if you are subscribing to Facebook leads. Those are probably going to have a little bit less intent because they haven't even been to a property details page yet or a listing details page. But still, they convert much higher than average, and so we want to surface them to you. But you'll see when you look at lead details, if that Facebook lead came in and they said in the notes, oh, I'd like to tour this home, yes, versus somebody that came to a listing details page and they created the tour request from your CINC site. So that's showing request. The property inquiries that come from this form are just as good as showing requests in terms of converting to appointments. They'll typically say, I'm interested. So this box here is how they show up on your Launchpad. I'm interested in this address, or it will show the question that they asked. If they type over that question, or if they're using the contact form at the bottom of the page, then that question will be shown here. So those are very high intent. These ones that say, I want more info about this home, they'll come across like this. They'll just say, I want more info about this home. So what's interesting about this one is this person is not necessarily saying, I want to talk to an agent, right? And they might not even be expecting when they click this that, oh, that means an agent's going to call me, even though we say ask and then the agent's name above it. But you can be sure that there's something that they want to know about that house. And so the trick is for you to figure that out, right? How can you determine what their interest is in this home without necessarily assuming that they're ready to go take a look at it right now? And then like another one-click call to action, you might have seen this one, is where it says send more homes near these schools. And so this is an interesting one. It's again, like a person might be expecting that this is going to just automatically update their search or something to send more homes near those schools. But instead, we're creating this notification to you so you can make a choice to update their search. But more importantly, it's telling you something. So you're learning something about this lead that schools are important. And in fact, these specific schools are important to that lead. So it's giving you ammunition and context so that when you have your conversation, you can direct your questions to that lead around what you know about them. So, what kinds of questions can you ask? Somebody is interested in these schools. So what would you ask this lead? I want to see someone drop that in the comments. When someone says send more homes near these schools, how would you approach that conversation, knowing that you have this bit of information that you typically don't have? All right, so Jen jumps in and says, how old are your children? What ages are your kids or grandkids, says Mike. Yeah, these are great because you can't get objections on these types of questions. Um, How many kids do you have? Why are schools? Oh, no, this is this question for us. Why are schools not a searchable tool in property searches? Schools is a feature. Not every. I think it has to be activated on the MLS as well. So some MLSs and some even on some sites, there's a site level feature to activate schools. So if you don't see schools on your site and you want schools, that's something that we can check for you and make sure that if it's available that we're turning it on. Are you looking to move into the district? Yeah, that's a great one. And what's important to you about these schools? So yeah, great example. So you have this great context that gives you more power when you're having these conversations. Is this a tech support question regarding school districts interfering with the result search? Not exactly sure what you mean by that. But if this is something that, Sarah, what would you recommend if they don't have schools represented on their site today? Should we bring it up to Frontline
Yeah,
or?
you'd want to reach out to Frontline, and they would be able to put a case in for you with our data integration team. The data integration team would be the team that would handle getting that set up to make sure that we're receiving the information from the MLS and displaying it correctly on the site. As long as the MLS can send us that data, we should be able to set it up and display it.
All right, and then my favorite in the contact requested section are the AI agent ready leads. And what I love about them is when you see that conversation, you see the AI agent ready lead show up in contact requested. It shows you the last thing that they said that triggered the lead to be flagged as agent ready by the AI. And so you've got that context of, hey, this is the last thing they said. And if you click the lead's name, it's going to open up the conversation so you can see the full conversation. But again, like these are the really the best that you've got in the system. Somebody that is conversed, that you've got good contact information, that they've talked to the AI, they've provided context, and the AI has enough information to indicate that this person's ready to talk to an agent. And so we want 100% of those to be followed up on by the agent. I can't tell you how often I see that these fall by the wayside, where the person says, I'm ready for a call. Call me tomorrow, or call me later today, or they ask a question and they never get a follow up. And that's part of the reason why we've done this whole project, because too many leads that are these high quality leads don't get followed up on, and we know those are just transactions that are falling on the floor, and we want to make sure that you get them all. And so these are beautiful. You see exactly what they said. You can jump in to the conversation from the card, or of course you can reach out to the lead as well. And then lastly is home pulse. And so we see more and more home pulse inquiries as this product has been out for over a year now. And we see a lot more buyers who are registering their home on home pulse. And so even if you're not getting seller leads, half of the buyer leads that come through today say they own a home. And we're getting about 20% of those to register their home on home pulse. And that's a number we're always looking to grow. But there's a lot of buyer leads that register their home, and then they end up submitting these inquiries where they're asking you to verify their home estimate, or they're clicking one of these buttons like, how quickly can I sell my home, or is now a good time to sell? And those are, again, our conversation starters, opportunities for you to jump in and learn more about what their situation is, what their motivation is, and then to provide value for that lead. Like if they're saying verify my home estimate, it means they might not agree with what's being shown here, and they're asking for your expertise. So it's a great opportunity for you to say, what? Let me come take a look at your house, and I can give you a very accurate estimate of what this could go on the market for. Maybe if you're working in a cash offer program, you might be able to offer some actual offers on the property as well. So all of those are showing up in contact requested today. And so this is our one word of caution is that remember that especially if this is the first time you're talking to these leads, it can be very tempting to want to assume that that lead is ready to actually go do something with you, but they don't know you yet. And so nothing really changes with the need to build up trust and rapport with these leads. These leads still have their armor on. They still have their shield on. And we hear things like, oh, well, the lead said they clicked it by accident. We know that the conversation has kind of prompted that the ability for the lead to give that objection. Because if we work backwards from that, that's going to happen if you say, oh, I see you submitted a property inquiry, and I wanted to know what what questions can I answer for you. Well, that's inviting them to say, oh, I didn't do that, because they don't know you yet, right? And so anyone who's just getting a phone call, even though there's information they want, they're still feeling a little nervous, just like someone who walks into a department store and they reject help right out of the gate, even though they're there for a specific reason, because they don't feel comfortable yet. And so we highly recommend not changing what you normally do with a lead, which is typically asking the question of, to learn about their motivation, asking the question, are you, looking to make a move in the near future or just browsing? Take the pressure off, make them feel comfortable, use all the skills that we teach on conversion day and at CINC so that you build that rapport first, and then you can go ask for the appointment once you feel like you've built that rapport. So if you find when you call these leads, they're saying, oh, I didn't do that, in most cases, in I wouldn't say that it's foolproof that they don't ever click it by accident, but in most cases, they clicked it on purpose. They're just not exactly ready to, they want more information, but they want to know that they trust you and they're comfortable talking to you before they're willing to open up further. And so with that in mind, if you have struggled with this at all, we started doing our conversion day, which is a free event that is happening virtually now, where we walk you through the skill set. It's a fantastic reminder. Going multiple times is a great idea. We highly recommend going to this session just to always refresh on, our CINC University team, our training team, has analyzed tens of thousands of conversations, well, millions of conversations, millions of leads. They've done this many, many times. So they know what works. They know what to predict in terms of appointment rates and lead conversion rates. So if you struggled at all with converting these leads, sign up. This is a free event and one that we absolutely encourage everybody to go to make sure you're having the most success and getting the most return out of these leads that are coming into your platform from CINC. All right. So that is all the content about what's going on with the dashboard and the Launchpad. And so let's check in on the questions and see what else we might have missed.
I did just want to follow back up. I got an answer from our tech team on the score updating. I can't remember who asked that. I want to say it was Donna, but I'm not totally sure. It updates every 10 minutes. So once you have set that value, updated like your phone number, email, or whatever you wanted, and like clicked the little icon to get it to the green check to indicate that it's good, it won't update the score for at least 10 minutes. This is something that runs on a batch job every 10 minutes. It's not going to be immediate. So we do update it. It just takes some time.
All right, Tom asked, can you give us stats on how many clients are getting verified or opting out when asked? Yeah, it's a little more than 60% that when they go through the verification process, over 60% of the leads verify their phone number. And we expect that to grow even over time because that's kind of out of the gate. And then over time, they come back to the site via listing alerts, and they're still asked to verify their phone number when they want to look at listing photos. So again, if you haven't signed up for Real Verified, it's free. It's in general release now. Something that you can also toggle off if you, for any reason, you felt you didn't want to keep it on. So, whoops. So there's no reason not to try it. And one of the things that we love about it is the rate at which leads correct their phone numbers. And so you get more at-bats. If you get more correct phone numbers, it's giving you more at-bats with leads. Pull that QR code up once more. And we're getting like a 10% phone number correction rate. So leads that initially, they enter a bad phone number because they don't trust the site yet. Then they get in, they see, this is really good. There's a lot of great information. Now I'm willing to give you my phone number because I want to see all the photos. And they correct their phone number in order to get full access. And so it provides a real advantage. It's like, getting more correct phone numbers is like getting more leads, because you have a chance to contact a lead that you might not otherwise have had. We'll go ahead and wrap it up. And thanks everybody for joining and sticking around with us this whole time. Really appreciate it. We feel very fortunate that you are clients, and we're here for your success. So anything we can do to help, let us know. Thanks all.